First it poured and then it rained. Welcome, Mario. He is the great Mario Ruiz. I'm Dave Denholm. This is LAFC Plus, and we want to welcome you to episode 21. Mario, just having some great times. Not a little rain's not even going to stop LAFC in the long run. The unbeaten streak is alive.
Yes.
And good to talk to you, brother. Hope you're doing well.
Good to talk to you. Yeah, it was a great weekend, right? It was a great weekend that was just set off by that win at the Rose Bowl, set off the 4th of July weekend for me, just in the right way, Davey, right? And then, you and I are both busy with the Copa America stuff. So it's like a summer of football for you and I. We got the Road to Copa show on 710 ESPN that you guys can hear Monday through Friday. We're going into the last week of that. So that's good. But I enjoyed the holiday, Dave. I was at the beach. I was camping with the family. We played some games. It was amazing. What'd you do for the weekend, Dave?
A lot of soccer and trying to recover. I was a little under the weather going into the July 4th match. You can hear it in my voice, I'm sure. Just kind of resting up since then, taking it pretty easy, doing some fun little things with the family. My wife and daughter got to do a lot more stuff, especially on July 4th, since we were obviously busy. So they had a great time. Yeah, casual, but trying to get back to 100%. We're getting there.
What a pro you are, though, Dave. I mean, on that 4th of July, I remember we were talking, before our broadcast even started, and you're
I was struggling.
Just keeping it low. You're just not talking much. And I would say, Dave, let me do the talking. And you just chill out for a bit. But as soon as the broadcast started, you were on it, man. You were on it. You were on fire as usual. So,
well, we got to up our game. LAFC is demanding that. The team itself is demanding it. So we got to stay right up with the level that they're playing at. And, when I say first it poured, that was the pouring down of the magical victory over LA Galaxy on a big night, over 70,000 plus at the Rose Bowl. LAFC come through, and then it rained. And we know what happened, of course, on Sunday. LAFC has to hoof it over to Houston and, try to get a game in against the Dynamo with the barrel, like a tropical. I don't know what it was called at the time, or if it's barreling down, no pun intended. Hopefully everybody is okay. Hopefully, just had to beat the weather and they couldn't, bottom line. And wisely, I think they decided to postpone it, let LAFC get out of there, right? Because the schedule keeps rolling on, Mario. And we'll start with this before we go back to the great Galaxy game. I think the postponement was probably a good thing. Not only the weather stuff, you don't want to play through that or endanger people as a tropical storm is, fast approaching and all that. It's more about a little time off, it kind of stinks. You got to get on a plane, you got to go there, got to come back. Okay, that's annoying to be sure, but you didn't have to play. And I think now we saw the rotated lineup. If you didn't see what the lineup was going to be against Houston, it's going to be pretty rotated, right? Pretty heavily rotated, rightfully so. There's a busy schedule, but Mario, I think you can take that lineup, and I'm not saying Steve's doing this. He may change his mind, or they might have different plans. You could probably just take that lineup right into the game coming up against New Mexico United on an Open Cup night here midweek.
Yeah, that was a bummer that they made the trip all the way out there. But yeah, like you said, that takeaway is just that, the players got to save their legs, save their fitness, save their energy because of this crazy schedule here in July. It's supposed to be 8 games right in July, but now it's going to be probably 7 in the span of just 27 days.
They can't jam that in July, I don't think.
We'll see where they're going to jam this one in. But I was really pumped to see David Martinez in that starting lineup. And, he must be thinking, what the heck am I doing here in MLS playing in this crazy weather? Because remember this blizzard game over Real Salt Lake, he was in that one. He was thinking like, what the heck is going on? And then he goes to Houston with that crazy weather, that awful weather in Houston. So he's got to be thinking, oh, man, I can't wait to get back home. And maybe he gets that start on Wednesday for the U.S. Open Cup match. I'll be excited for that if that happens.
Well, my memory isn't what it used to. I'm getting old. But wasn't the RSL horrificness? Wasn't that Martinez's first game in MLS, like his first appearance?
Yes, it was. That was his debut.
It was in 3 feet of snow. The guy's probably never even, probably never thrown a snowball in his life, right? I mean,
we were talking about those cards, those Topps cards that have those rookie patches, those debut patches. So his debut card is probably going to be a picture of him in that snow with the debut patch there. That's kind of cool.
Well, I'll tell you what, he's got to be champing at the bit to get that start.
Yeah.
Who knows? Yeah. We'll see how it goes coming up with still a heavy schedule. So, yeah, you'd expect there's going to be some rotation along the way, but I think this might be a good thing.
You know who was in there in that starting 11, though, Dave? Denis Bouanga, of course. Like, he never wants to come out. He wants to stay in there.
That's automatic,
crazy.
Right? That is automatic. Yeah. And speaking of automatic, well, he was automatic from the spot against the Galaxy, the game that did go through Thursday, of course, perfect weather at the Rose Bowl. As Mario said, too, once it got into the shade, so much better for every, of course, like once once the shade comes over, the stadium, it's always nice there. And just, beautiful performance. Just an impressive, and I wrote it down, a few notes, another impressive team win, right? They had, let's talk about it for a second, Mario. They had a 5-minute stretch, maybe not even, really, where they kind of fell asleep in the second half. Let's be honest. It looked a little ugly defensively. They were kind of Keystone copping it a bit. You could almost hear the music in the background, the clown music to a certain degree, because it was just guys running into each other, but just for like maybe 2-3 minutes, really.
That's it.
To the Galaxy's credit, they got a goal as part of that.
Yeah.
They missed a chance by Joseph Paintsel, and then it was locked down. From before then, a little bit of a 4-minute stretch where it wasn't real great. And then, boom, locked down again the rest of the match. And most importantly, that kept a 2-1 lead because they had the 2 goals. And they win another great. What are your first thoughts on that, Mario? Because, just a great win. Impressive team win. What are you taking from that match?
Well, first off, I was at In-N-Out after the game, and
that's what you're taking from the match.
Oh yeah, no, just to piggyback off of your story about those 3 or 4 or 5 minutes. I was at In-N-Out after the game, and I do that often because that's probably the only thing open at that time. So I go to In-N-Out, and usually there's LAFC fans there. Now on this night, it was some Galaxy fans there, and it was some LAFC fans there. We're all in line. This is one of those old-fashioned In-N-Outs where you stand up outside the window and you just stand up in order. So it was cool to be chatting with everybody there in line at In-N-Out. And actually 2 of the fans, very knowledgeable fans, they were behind me and they were saying the same thing. They said just about 5 minutes max that Galaxy took a little bit of control of that game. But other than that, it was all LAFC. So, that was spot on. But no, what a match. That was just for the history books, Dave, for sure.
Yeah.
Some moments there that I'm just going to remember for a very, very long time. Like when the team just ran into the 32-52 after the match and just was celebrating and partying with all the 3-2, 5-2. I'm going to definitely remember that for a very long time, Dave. And another thing I'm going to remember is when you were calling the match, you're on fire. The game is intense, and I'm up in the booth, and we're up in the booth, and I just see on the outside of the stadium at the very top in the sky, you see fireworks going off. You hear them going off, and you're just calling the game. And all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. It was just a unique thing. It was a unique experience. And to top it off with a win is just memorable for sure.
It really was. And you mentioned it. That's a great point. You see the picture here if you're watching on YouTube, or if like Lloris going into the crowd. A lot of players were helped into the 32-52, if you will, at the Rose Bowl, celebrating. It felt so germane to the moment. Like it was so authentic, like guys were just that emotional. And I want to say it was Bogusz and Kai Kamara who I saw kind of running it, into it to begin with. And then, of course, everybody got involved. But that's what I'm taking away. Look, we've won games before against the Galaxy, obviously. We've had good performances against the Galaxy. We've had better performances against the Galaxy a couple of times. This was a great performance, mind you. But what I'll take away is something I will remember that. I won't remember even necessarily the score eventually. But I'll remember the guys going into the crowd after the victory. That's the kind of stuff that sticks with you on nights like that.
And Dave, I remember whenever I was on the field about to get a walk-off interview with Kai Kamara.
Yeah.
So I'm walking towards the guys, but the guys are all just walking towards the 3-2, 5-2. And so I just sat back and I just enjoyed it. I took it all in. Matter of fact, I took out my phone and I started recording, and I got some of this footage here. This is just raw footage from me, like that's where awesome. You see the net is right there. I'm right next to the net. I'm right behind the guys, and I just took this footage here of the guys just celebrating here.
Nice.
This is just raw footage. It was amazing night.
It really was. And that's what I mean, like just the kind of run you're on, and yet this game, no matter what anyone tries to tell you or tries to downplay it if they lose or whatever, sorry, it's that big. This game is that big. It is the rivalry for a reason. No disrespect to other great rivalries in MLS, and there are some. This just is not comparable. It's just not comparable to any other one. It's just that much better. Mm-hmm. And, before we get into the Kai Kamara stuff, which we will, I want to point out one specific performance, Mario, and it's hard to because we said it's a team victory. Nobody played bad. Yeah. Everybody had you had to have a good game to win. There's no doubt because some of the Galaxy players actually had decent games. No question. Mm-hmm. Sergi Palencia versus Joseph Paintsil.
Yeah.
Now I'm not saying Paintsil, like stopping him caused us to win necessarily. You got to do a lot of stuff, team game. Mm-hmm. But Sergi just locked him down. And Paintsil's a very good player, very dangerous. He's had success all year, essentially, except when he faces Sergi Palencia or LAFC. And, as a team thing, I get it. But, boy, Sergi has to be called out for this performance. He was tremendous.
And not only against Paintsil, against Ricky Puig as well, and against that whole entire Galaxy offense that is dangerous. But also, Denis Bouanga was killing that Galaxy defense. They did not have an answer for him as well. But, Sergi has just been all season long, just solid all season long. Props to Sergi.
Something else, I wondered why it maybe didn't go viral. I hope the kid's okay, first and foremost, right? That's all that matters. Maybe that's why it didn't go viral. And if this is the case, I hope it doesn't. When Julian Ude got kind of just, let's face it, he got just beat and he felt, I hope he didn't get injured. That's what, again, I haven't checked on that, but wow, what a performance on that wing for Bogusz. Mm-hmm. And, that's why I want to call out some of his play over there again. Mm-hmm. The wings, Denis on one, Bogusz was out wide for a while, obviously for most of the match. That was where it was won or lost, honestly. Both ends, defensively, offensively for LAFC. That's why I want to call those out. It just was that good.
You know who else had a good performance was the 3-2-5-2 and all the black and gold faithful that was there because let's be real, the Galaxy did outnumber the LAFC.
Oh, by plenty. Yeah,
there was a lot of white in there, but as soon as the action got started and LAFC took control of that match, I couldn't hear no Galaxy fans. All I could hear was the 3-2-5-2 section and the chants and the drums and the singing from the LAFC fans, which was very, very impressive on a stadium that huge that is not typically LAFC's home.
Couldn't agree more. They take it to a different level, and that helps too. That helps, obviously, rivalries. That helps, helps teams. No question about it. We know that. And it helps this guy who doesn't need a whole lot of help often. It's Kai Kamara. He does it again, gets another goal. Here's what it sounded like on our broadcast, me calling this game. This was the first goal of the match from Kai Kamara. Great corner kick from Matty Bogusz.
Near side corner for Bogusz. Outswinger, here it comes. Looping it towards the 6. Kamara, and in! Kai Kamara has headed it home. It's 1-0. Kai Kamara's third of the season. He now has a goal or an assist in 4 straight. LAFC capitalize on another corner kick. It's 1-0 black and gold. And listen to the 32-52 of the Rose Bowl.
Chills, baby. Chills. I love
alluding to, and that's from obviously the call on 710 ESPN. You can hear the games there and on the ESPN LA app. Thanks so much to them. And Mario, that's kind of what you alluded to, right? The 32-52, making all that noise. Certainly the goal helps, but Kai Kamara was so high up in the air on that play. If you haven't seen the video highlights or whatever, go check it out. Holy cow, what a header. Great ball in. Certainly you need the service, and that's another assist for Matty Bogusz. But what a finish. You talk to him after the match. He's literally flying high, not figuratively anymore. He's really flying high for LAFC.
Yeah, I finally caught up to him after he was celebrating with the 3-2-5-2. I said, come over here really quick. Let's get this walk-off interview with. He said, yeah, sure, let's do it.
Soccer in America. I grew up as a fan here. I grew up supporting the guys on the other side. But to see what this club has done and changed the face of soccer in California, it's amazing. We can't take that away. So it's a good battle, but we know, this guys on this side, black and gold, how we can do it. And today we show the fans what we can do.
LAFC is now unbeaten in 12 matches. How does that feel?
Hey, it's amazing. It's amazing. This is what you got to do. We work every day, and when we get to games, we got to reward ourselves. And trust me, everybody's going to go into that locker room with a big smile on our faces today.
Yeah, and I told him after the match, I said, "Hey, man," I said, "I haven't seen somebody jump that high in a long time, let alone a guy like you, a veteran like you." I said, "You still got it. You aren't stopping anytime soon." He said, "No way, man. No way. I'm having too much fun here with the black and gold." And it shows.
Yeah, it's like a jump over your age vertical leap for crying out loud. He's over 39. I mean, gee, what a leap. What a goal. And it's not the first, and it won't be the last, I'm sure. He's really starting to get very comfortable in that middle. And, he did a great job also defending.
Mm-hmm.
He held the ball up well offensively to, alleviate some of the pressure sometimes because, LAFC let the Galaxy come at him a while, and for much of the game, really, and still controlled it, which is incredible. But, yeah, Kai Kamara doing a lot of work, both ends, and a great job by him.
The plan was to take him off. Before the end of the match. The plan wasn't to let him go 90 minutes, Steve Cherundolo
that's right,
said.
yeah.
But they said that he had all the energy and he was pressing and he was doing it all, so they just let him go the full 90, and there you go.
Great work by Kai Kamara and the team, of course. 12 straight now, as Mario said in the interview. 10 straight in MLS play. That's a way to leap up the table. 9-0-1 in your last 10. That'll get it done, really. 28 out of 30. That's real nice, no doubt about it. We move on, though. We have to move on to something kind of a fun farewell, if you will, a part of our history, and truly now part of our history. Stipe Biuk officially moves on to Valladolid in now La Liga. They got promoted. Stipe went over there on loan, as we all know and we remember. Well, congratulations to him and that team. And now he gets the permanent move over to La Liga side, Valladolid. Big club, huge club. Just getting, promoted back into the top flight in Spain. And Stipe, the winger, will be over there. Mario, I love the kid. You know that. I've had some memorable calls of his goals, I got to be honest, because I always loved his talent from day one. I like the guy. He's a good kid. I wish him nothing but the best. He's just somebody like I'll definitely keep following, no doubt about it.
Yeah, it's good to see him find a home out there at Real Valladolid, of course, in Spain. And that team is doing well. Since he's got there, the team started doing well, and they're promoted up to La Liga now. And, big congrats to Brazilian legend R9 Ronaldo. He owns the team as well. So it's a good place to be, and their fan base is incredible. The stadium is incredible. He seems to be loving it there. So congrats to Stipe, and keep doing your thing.
Yeah, he was a big part of it too. Like, it wasn't just didn't just go over there and not play. I mean, he was a part of it. I think he got a little banged up late in the season. Took a little knock, but he missed a few games. But nothing, he's definitely a part of the, what they're planning to try to stay in La Liga.
Talent like that, you can't hold that down for too long. It's going to be discovered. It's going to be used. It's going to get playing time. Stipe's a talented, quality player.
Still 21, maybe 20.
Oh,
I mean, I'm guessing because I don't know it off the top of my head, but he's like still.
He's a gazelle out there.
Yeah, just getting going. We wish him nothing but the best. Always loved chatting with him. Always loved watching him play. Of course, calling it. I thought immense talent, no doubt about it. It was easy to see immediately why the LAFC brought him in. As soon as you saw him play, as soon as you saw him in practice, So he just needs more opportunity. That's the bottom line, and he's going to get it there. Let's hope. We move on to our contest. It's time now to talk about that. We kind of rotate this around in the show. This is episode 21, but if you didn't listen to last week and you're just joining us, episode 20, very special episode, we started the 20th episode contest. And what that means is for the next 3 shows, starting last week, this is the middle of the 3, we're going to give you a phrase for the week. And we did that at some point last week. We're not going to tell you where, and you never know when it's going to pop up, so you got to listen. That's the whole point. And then after next week, when we give you the phrase, I'll also tell you a time and place to where I'll pop up a contest on X, which I call Twitter still because I'm an old man, but you know what I mean. On that platform at Talk Soccer, follow me there at Talk Soccer. And after that, third phrase next week, I'll give you the time and place. It'll be easier than it sounds now. And the first person to respond with all 3 phrases. This is just phrase number 2, so you got to keep listening for the next week as well, at least. But it's a little thank you. You'll win a pair of my season tickets to one game in the future. We'll work that out. We already had one winner on the episode 10 contest that did the same thing. And he already went to his match, had a great time. So I think it was I want to say it might have been the FC Dallas game that he picked. So yeah, we'll work that out for the future. Somebody's winning a pair of my season tickets. So good luck. The phrase, Mario,
There you go. That's what we're waiting for.
Is Derby win.
Derby win.
Not exactly a huge surprise there. And we move on. That's how we do it. We just let the contest sit there. Boom. Here we go. Around the rest of MLS. And there is some things to get to. There are some things to get to. My English teacher would have not like that. FC Cincinnati. Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow. I mean, look, I know Miami basically was calling you and me in to start that match because they're missing so many people. I get that.
Yeah.
And it's deeper than just one match, though. But wow, what a performance and what a team this is, Mario. They just keep rolling.
Oh, Lucho Acosta, of course, playing amazing all season long and was amazing in that game. He had this
6-1.
one play, Dave. He had this one play, Dave, where he megged the defender and then they bumped it right back to him. And he went 1v1 versus the keeper and he just missed it. But that would have been an amazing play. But you know what, Dave? They've been winning. Miami's been winning without Messi and without Luis Suarez. So let's not give them an excuse like, oh, there was no, star players. No, they had to beat that Miami team who's been rolling. And Cincinnati, they've been suffering from injuries too. So for them to put up 6 goals, 6-1 against Miami, that's very, very impressive, especially if they're both battling for the supporter shield. It was a tough matchup. Both teams came out to play.
Yeah.
And Cincinnati put up 6 goals against Inter Miami. That is crazy.
Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned that too, because I wanted to go to the supporter shield standings and kind of just talk through a little bit because let's be realistic. A lot of teams don't have a chance. I mean, they're almost done in terms of winning a supporter shield. Not mathematically. I know there's plenty of games left that way, but if you're looking at a team like Colorado's having a nice year, they're on 37 points. Red Bull New York, very good season. Currently in the supporter shield standings, 8th at 36 points. And then New York City's 9th with 35. They don't really have a chance to win, really. That's too much ground to make up, like against that many teams ahead of you. They're not going to. So Columbus still has a few games in hand, and I mean a few, against Galaxy. In fact, in Miami, they got 3 games in hand. They have at least 1 game in hand on everybody. That's us. And then 2 or more. So Columbus at 39 points, still kind of teetering on that edge there. It's close.
Yeah. They're coming up. They're coming on hot, though.
Yeah.
As of late.
Galaxy, RSL, and us now all on 43 points. Of course, LAFC leads the West with 13 wins. That's why we're first in the West. And we actually have a game in hand on both of those, 2 on the Galaxy, in fact, now that we missed out on that Houston rain out. Miami, we have 2 games in hand on them. We're 4 points behind. They're at 47. And Cincinnati, they are the clear-cut leaders over us, in fact, in terms of points per game. So we know they have played 1 more game, but they have 5-point lead on LAFC, 1-point lead on Miami. So it's tight, and it's going to come down to the wire, I believe. But Mario, this race, I tell you, mark it down. September 28th at Cincinnati, LAFC visiting Cincinnati. I can't wait to see the Bailey and the fans there. That's what it's off the hook. Incredible place to go. It is going to be a match of all matches, that game. I'm telling you. I cannot wait already.
That is, but the one I had circled on the calendar all year long was the one this weekend, was against Columbus, a rematch of the MLS Cup. But then also after that, RSL is coming up. So there's a lot of big matches, a lot of 6-point swingers there coming up for LAFC for sure.
Oh, this upcoming 8 day, whatever it is, 8 days if you include Wednesday twice.
Yeah.
Off the hook. You got a U.S. Open Cup quarterfinal against a very good New Mexico United team. For my money, playing about as good or better than anybody in USL. Then you got, as you said, those 2 matches, right? Oh, it's going to be sick. It's going to be insane.
When this month clears up of July, we're going to get a clear picture of where LAFC stands, where the rest of the league stands, because there's a lot of big matches between all the top teams coming up here in this month of July.
Hey, congratulations, too, as we move on. Congratulations to Peter Vermes, the manager of Sporting Kansas City, gets his 200th career regular season victory.
Awesome.
Sporting KC is a bit of a mess, but they get the win. Nice win over Dallas, 3-2. And, obviously a statement win that way in terms of his 200th. So legendary player and manager, no doubt. Mario, we see several players for MLS called into the Olympic squad.
Love it. I love it.
Yeah, love that. I think key names for me, were, obviously Walker Zimmerman going in as an, above or not above, overage, if you will, player. There's 3 players who can be above 23 years old, right? It's a U23 tournament in essence. I think he's key. Miles Robinson comes in. So, yeah, it's an interesting setup there. What do you think of that overall for the Olympics? How are you excited about that? We're in the midst of these other tournaments. Obviously, we're working our fingers to the bone. We got the Olympics coming up too.
I do love it, Dave, and let me tell you why. Though I love it because what if this Olympic team does well, but what if these players from MLS that are on this Olympic team do really well? Well, we start to see some of these MLS players get a chance on the U.S. men's national team heading into the World Cup, because we know that, there's a lot of talent in MLS that's not being used for the U.S. men's national team. Could we use some new blood? Who knows? After the Copa America early exit, what does the group need? New players, new coach. Hey, maybe there's an MLS player that sticks out here in the Olympics and gets their shot.
Yeah, it's interesting when you talk about it that way. And I look at the roster for the Olympics. There are a few guys. Now, most of them probably are not ready to break through against the guys we have on the U.S. national team. I know people are down on the U.S. men's national team, mostly the coaching end. Some of it is the players, and maybe they're not playing enough at their teams, but it's still a very talented U.S. men's national team. Some of these guys, though, I think could. The places I look, Mario, goalkeeping. You got Patrick Schulte from the Crew, and you got Gaga Slonina. I think either one of those has a future with the U.S. men's. I really do, and I'm talking maybe sooner rather than later if Matt Turner doesn't start getting a lot of games in and play well, frankly, going forward. I think there's a future for these guys if they have a good U.S. Olympic tournament here in Paris. Also jumping out to me, and he's about to make a move, reportedly, over to Europe, is Caleb Wiley. I like that kid from Atlanta, rock solid defender. I think he could have a very big tournament here. Another guy I like to keep an eye on for me, because I do love the way he plays. I don't know how you feel. Benjamin Kramaski from Inter Miami.
From Miami, yeah.
Very intriguing pick. Some other guys were thinking of other players maybe that should go ahead of him, but I kind of like the way he plays. He's got a little bit of that swagger. He's got a lot of creativity, which this team's going to need, and it seems to be lacking in the U.S. men's national team often. This is another kid we've got to keep a good eye on in this tournament.
Yeah, when you play on that team with all those stars and also Messi, some of that rubs off on you, and you learn a lot from playing with players with that type of experience and have won World Cups. So, yeah, I like Kramaski for sure.
Yeah, a lot of big names. Duncan McGuire for Orlando City is going to obviously get a good hard look up front for this U.S. team. They start on July 24th against France. Then a few games coming every 3 days in the Olympics. So July 24th begins versus France, then New Zealand, and then Guinea to round out group play there in Group A for that 16-team tournament. And the Olympics are always kind of wild because it is U23, so it's not always the same like Germany, Spain. It's like there's some wild card stuff going on in these tournaments sometimes, right? It's not always the Argentinas, although they're going to be very good. Like it's not always Brazil, Some of these countries aren't even in this tournament. They didn't even qualify. So could be very fun. I'm looking forward to that one too. Although we're going to need a rest after Copa America and all this LAFC stuff going on in the next month still. So
we'll keep an eye on it for sure.
We'll keep an eye on it. Yeah, good way to put it. Hey, that's going to about do it. We do have this big game coming up on Wednesday, right? If you're listening to this, if you're listening to this before then, this podcast, New Mexico United comes in, USL Championship side. And it is for a trip to the semifinals, Mario. Airtime for the pregame coming up at 7. We're going to have a little longer pregame. That's 7 o'clock Pacific on ESPN LA 710 and the ESPN LA app. I am pumped. You've got to be ready for this one too, right? This is a great opportunity for the black and gold.
I'm ready because, we got rest on Sunday because there was no game in Houston. So how much does Steve need to rotate here? We'll see. Is David Martinez going to start at home? That is going to be awesome if he does. So make sure you guys join us for the pregame show, 7 p.m., right, on 710 ESPN and the ESPN LA app.
And not to look too far ahead, but we do this show once a week, so we do also have that monster game coming up on Saturday. By the way, against Columbus Crew in a rematch of MLS Cup. This time they come to us, so that's another massive game. Yeah, we'll have plenty to discuss coming up in episode 22. Great job, Mario. Episode 21 in the books. Can you believe it? just flies
Great
along.
job.
I'm loving this show, man. I thank you
Oh,
all
yeah.
for participating. If you can leave a comment, a like, a review, wherever you listen to your podcast, that obviously helps. If you watch it on YouTube, hit the subscribe button for the LAFC channel, which is where we live, and hit the like, leave us a comment. We can take it. Hit me up on X or Twitter at Talk Soccer. Mario, where are you living?
At I am Mario Ruiz, at I am Mario Ruiz on Instagram, Twitter, all that stuff.
Great stuff, Mario. Have a great week, buddy.
You too. Great week, everybody.